Hello, and welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
And we are carrying on our glorious Mario March. And, because we've done more Super Mario Brothers 1993 movie, I guess we're going to have to start referring to it with the number in there, but we've done more podcasts than anybody else on that subject, and we need a Guinness Book World Record of it first. I feel like we need some recognition there. I know the Guinness Book World Record is like, we're not taking out a section in our book for that, but still, we find more ways to find more things related to the old original 1993 movie that both me and Ryan love to death, totally, realistically, not some other weird, bizarre way, So we decided we're going to try one of those other scripts. And ironic way, that was what I was thinking.
Ironic hipster kind of way, yeah. So here's the thing. One of the first times was it actually all started with the Mario movie script. We so every so often we'll do like an unproduced script and we just cover and go through it. The very first one we ever covered was the original draft of the Mario Brothers script, where it was more like fantasy oriented, kind of like Princess Bride, with a dash of Indiana Jones and kind of like Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. So this is the first time we kind of got these off Super Mario Brothers movie archive. I think what is it again? SMBmovie.com.
It's SMBarchives.com. So if you're into the 1993 Mario Brothers movie, like the way we do, and you love it to death or whatnot, you got to go there because it's got all the cool extra stuff in there. It's got the scripts, it's got behind the scenes things, toys, information, so on. I'm also kind of glad because, there was that extended cut that the guy put out of the movie. And I'm making sure I download this because I saw on there you can't get it anymore, like got pulled down. So
yeah, that was one of those things, get it when you can kind of thing.
I'm grateful I have it because that even comes into play in the script here, some of these extra scenes that are in that extended cut.
Yeah. And so this is not the first time we've come back to the I feel like we do at least one or two podcasts on the 93 Mario movie, at least once or twice a year, find a way to do it. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't do it with that being Mario March this year. So just like, let's just cover the next script of it. Now there is the version we covered, the version that's out there, that wasn't technically the first script. There is another version before that was apparently a little bit more dramatic, and that's the one that had the guy who wrote Rain Man in it. I'm going off of memory here, but there's apparently another version out there which we didn't read because it's never leaked out there. Now there's another version where the pitch is available and some notes are available, but it kind of leads into the movie we got a little bit more. And that's one where from what I've looked into the thing, like some things are probably different, but overall it looks kind of like it follows the same plot more or less as like maybe the same beats as the original draft, which is, Mario and Luigi in another world go to save the princess. But at the same time, rather than being kind of like more fantasy oriented, it's kind of like this fantasy sci-fi kind of cross thing where they're in an alternate version, like Brooklyn's covered in moss everywhere. There's fog on the ground, and it still has a little bit more drama in it, apparently. But then from there, they said, well, let's make this shit a little harder. Let's make it a little rougher. And that's where they go. And this is, I think, where it makes one of the first big leaps towards the movie we end up getting.
Yeah, so what they refer to this script that we read today is it's considered called the Ghostbusters kind of script. And, at first glance, when you read that, like you picture it having more of a Ghostbusters theme. But what they really mean from it is that it's like they were picturing it like, hey, what if Mario was played by Bill Muray? And let's be honest, I feel like almost like they'd probably shoot for Bill Muray and they'd end up getting like Jim Belushi. If that was the case, because that sort of feels like, if you can't get Bill Muray or something like that, you get that, or maybe you get Tom Arnold, which don't get me wrong, I like Tom Arnold, but I feel like that does seem like you are getting like your like third string quarterback there to fill in.
They get someone who was like on SNL for like one season and like bounced out, but no, yeah. So this was, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started reading this, I wasn't like dreading it or anything, just because I knew there was going to be differences, but I was kind of like, oh, so I'm just going to be more or less reading the script the movie I already saw with some probably slight dialogue changes here and there. But there actually is some pretty big prominent things that are different from the final movie we got. You can kind of, it is very much takes place in the world of the movie we ended up getting, and very much that tone and vibe, but things kind of flipped around in different order. Some plot points never happen, some plot points are added, some things are really fucking amped up in ways you wouldn't expect. We'll get to that, but
well, it's even just like right off the bat, the personalities of Mario and Luigi are both a lot more intense. Like Mario is just bitter as fuck. Like almost in a sense, like Pop put me up to this job. I didn't want to do it. You know, Luigi, you had choices in life, but I didn't. I had to support the family, and I don't even want to do it anymore, but I got it because that's all I know, you know? And even Luigi's just gonna act you like, whatever, Mario, just fucking say shit. You know, if you don't like it, don't fucking do it, you know? If I like a girl and she's in college, fuck it. Luigi, you can't like a girl. She's in college. You're blue collar. How do I break it down to you? She's never going to love you, Luigi. You don't have the kind of money that she can enjoy.
What, you think it's your heart? You think it's what's on the inside that matters? No fucking broad sees that. Not yet, yeah. No, well, the thing is, in all honesty, the version we first covered, Mario was a very bitter asshole, and I think in this one they do make him maybe he's mostly on that same level, but he does one or two things in here where he's like, yeah, that's the one, but Mario was to help her out. Fuck you, I want to go home. You know, there's a couple moments like that, but then I think he also has much more of a come around a lot harder, and it very much makes him, because the movie we end up getting at the end of the day, I think it's weird. The first version we cover, it is the Mario Brothers movie. Mm-hmm. And the first one we cover and the movie we got is very much that. This, even though Luigi is still definitely a big part of it, I think this is more Mario's movie, this particular version of the script.
Yeah, I definitely agree there too. And even this one too, I will say like at the beginning, it does have that feeling like someone's writing it. Like where that last script, the one that we read before, like even if I picture it being kind of older folks going into it, but they still felt like they're like, okay, we're going to really dive into like the world of Mario and so on like this. Where this one kind of feels like, oh yeah, by the way, could you guys just write this Mario Brothers script? What is it? It's a video game? Like never fucking played one of those before. What's it, like Space Invaders? Sort of, but no. You know, like at first it's weird as it goes farther into it actually gets way more Mario Brothers like the deeper it gets in there. But I remember like the first like 40 pages or so, I'm like, they're almost trying to like avoid even like certain Mario references that are in like the the movie that came to be and so on like that. I'm not saying that it's kind of bad, but it definitely has that feeling like almost like they gave it to like the bro guy to write, and who knows if that's the case, because this is like the people that wrote it, just for future references of people we don't know, but it is Parker Bennett and Terry Runte, or however you pronounce that. So all these scripts generally have a different set of writers on every single one of them. There's a few of them that kind of have some redrafts that have similar people, but for the most part, one person wrote a script and then they're like, you know what, give it to somebody else. You run with it and so on, and kept passing it through. But like literally at first, it's just like, it just feels like it's this brothers like thing where like they're just having this hard time getting by. Money's not working out. The Scapelli gang, they're always we're under their thumb the whole time. You know what I mean? It even has that scene that's in like the extended cut where like Mario and Luigi are like trying to fix like this old lady's like dishwasher or something at like the restaurant. You know, and Mario's trying to get money. He's like, I don't know, it's going to cost like $400 in labor, $250 in parts. Hey, you're looking at like $800 here. And then
before we go on that, I just want to say real quick, I noticed I can't remember who wrote what. Maybe it's all from the studio, but I should look it up, but I remember every time I read some of the studio notes leading into like the following like version of the next version of the script, like, yeah, so try more like this. Like whoever was writing these notes was talking crazy mad shit. Like, hey man, yeah, so look, we love we like the concept. We got to make it more like the game. That's fine. Make her do something that eat fucking chocolates. You know, she's got to be more of an active member. I don't know what these fuckers are thinking. You know, just go further on with it or whatever. And then this one, he's just like, yeah, I didn't laugh once while reading that script. So try and, I don't know, make it funny. You know, just something kind of like stupid, like shitty passive aggressive stuff. Like, it's not the whole note. It'll always be like one or two like backhanded comments like that throughout there, and then I'm like, okay, you know, and then like they just keep on passing on, like, what are they thinking of hiring this fuck? And then just seeing what it started off as, or at least the second version, seeing what it got, like, God, this is so vastly different. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the movie we got, but it is so crazy vastly different than where this almost seems like the bigger, grander version of like the movie we got. Like, I feel like they wrote this version, and from here we can see this is where we start cutting things off and rearranging things around, but it's mostly this is the movie from here on in.
Yeah, well, it's weird because it's like the beginning parts I feel like more simplified. It's as it gets, and we'll get to that part later, but once it gets kind of towards like I guess you'd almost say the third act or so, that's when things start to get very grand. Like the movie's like, it's like, oh wow, now this went to like a real big place, and they start pulling some like almost Mario references that I don't think they would have got, that like, oh shit, that actually is all like pretty Mario-ish. I mean, unless they're like really deep into it, but as I said, we'll get to that point as we get down farther into it. But I do like how this is one just kind of does start off. You know, it's got sort of like some of those extra cut scenes in it too that are once again in the extended one of like when Daisy gets dropped off like at the orphanage, and even sort of has the one where Koopa's kind of there that you sort of see, and going through with a little bit longer kind of upbringing of her. Like she actually has some more scenes kind of prior to before Mario, Luigi, and or meet Daisy.
Mm-hmm. And going off what you said, because like Mario's kind of like when we meet the Mario brothers, we see like Mario, salt of the earth, working on this dish machine, you know, and there's like an angry manager who's kind of a dickhead at this Italian restaurant. You know, Daisy's a waitress at this Italian restaurant, and Luigi's like, where's your protege? Is your protege supposed to be helping you out? I'm like, you see him, he's cleaning dishes. So it's kind of like, you know, it's like they're getting the point across, like, yeah, he's still learning, but he's not Mario level like skill yet. And then then there's like this kind of like, he still is kind of like, you know, the first version of the script we covered on the podcast. He was like very like pension pennies, like, you don't know what we got to do to survive. We are one day away from going out in the street and beating the fuck out of somebody with a wrench for his change, right? You know, he's like at his limit, and he's not quite at his limit here, but he's getting a little closer. So, but he also has a little bit of a heart, because, you know, that's where like the owner of the restaurant is like, I know these boys, like their father would always come in and help and do it for a good price. And when he tells them it's $800, he's like, $800, kind of what we need, but they settle for 200. But then,
well, what happens is that there's that part where Luigi's like, "Hey, I figured it out. It was just a clogged pipe on the dishwasher." Like, Luigi,
oh, that's right,
fucker. We needed
I forgot about that part.
He's like, "Come on, man. Like, she's a nice lady, you know. Papa Mario always used to work out for her for free. Come on, Mario. We gotta be like that. You know, we gotta be like Papa Mario. Papa Mario. He's the one that got us into this goddamn mess." There's a very like fatherly like feel like this whole script going on.
Papa Mario died in an unmarked grave because we couldn't afford a fucking tombstone.
We literally buried him in a pipe in Brooklyn, and I don't know where he went to after that. We just sent him off like a naval funeral and pulled the lever down to flush him out. He's floating down to New Jersey right now with all the other trash.
Just the pipe somehow ends up like leading to Maine somehow, and like Tim Robbins is like crawling through like a river of shit, and just, I need to do a frame, called through a river. Oh my god, a dead body. It just goes by.
Is that Papa Mario? Oh, what a great plumber he was.
Anyway, I need a friend.
Too bad plumbing's how he also went. He was born a plumber. He lived a plumber. He died a plumber.
In shit.
But yeah, so it's like, and then it's like one of those ones where it's like, the old Italian lady that owns the restaurant. She's like, "Here, bring out spaghetti for them all," and so on like that. And Luigi's like, "Hey, it was pretty good." He's like, and then she's like, gives him 200. She's like, "This is what I had to pay Scapelli if I had to come. The bare minimum at $250. So here you guys go. Here's $250 for that job." So at least they sort of get paid, but Mario's still kind of like eating that like pasta, being like, "It's just not enough, Luigi. It's just not enough."
And then like Luigi does like, I'm not gonna lie, I read the script like 2 days ago, so it's not as fresh in my head. But you're right. Then there's the part where Luigi like, "Okay, we're gonna get paid." And there's like an asshole manager there, and it's making Daisy work on her birthday or something like that. Like he's just like looking forward to fucking up someone's day, And then like Luigi accidentally knocks over like a massive pile of dishes. So he's a little bit more of a fuck up than like he is in the original draft. And then he's like, "I guess we won't be needing this." And he just like takes the check and rips it up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that part. Yeah, there. And so on. And then like, in this part, Luigi's just like, flirting with Daisy and so on like that. And I think that's where like Mario starts to like, you're like, no, what are you doing? That's a college level girl. You know what I mean? Like, you're just never gonna get her. Let's be honest, Luigi. I know you. Your education's slim to none. What are you gonna talk about when after your first couple dates? Let's be honest, you're gonna sit there in silence because none of you understand each other.
I just like that. She's gonna be talking about paleontology and some shit. What are you gonna talk about? The MTZ or whatever the fuck it is you watch? Hey, she probably watches that too, Mario. Oh, you fucking kids, you fucking Gen X's. You're gonna.
You know what? My generation's that in-between one. Not really a baby boomer, not really Gen X. I'm a lost soul floating amongst the riffraff of them all.
just like he's not even looking at Luigi as he says this. He's just like staring out into like space, not even thinking about it, just saying whatever comes. Like there's still he's like driving the car. Like, is your brother watching the road? Does he see it's a red light?
One of these days, I just hope somebody crosses that red light. And that's it. I see a final red light, and then life's done.
They said we're going off this fucking bridge.
That would be a good death.
What Papa left me with. No.
Oh, Papa Mario.
Not gonna lie, it's late here. I'm gonna be a little off my game. But I find out if you switch the booze, then you get that. So you ride that second wave of, all right, let's get weird. Let's see what happens.
I know. I'm like, I got some Guinness, so it kind of like both gives you the alcohol and sort of the little bit of caffeine and so on at the same weird time, and then makes you just feel Irish, even if you are Irish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hadn't either, and I got a couple the other day. I'm like, man, these are really good. I forgot how good these were. Like, I think the last time I had it was at your restaurant, because you always got a good one on tap there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I was like, dude, this is fucking good. I don't know. Some Guinness and Halo went together well. Now some Guinness and Mario. Why not?
Guinness and Mario. Why not? I feel like, yeah. I don't know. Mario does. I was trying to think of something Italian, but Mario doesn't seem like the wine drinking type. He's just like, that's for the upper crust. We get what they give us until we slit their fucking throats in their sleep.
Exactly, because that's like Mario and all these ones too is just like, I mean, he's like that in the movie as well, but he's just like totally on like the edge here and so on. And then like as it goes on, like after Mario keeps like going on, like she's never gonna call you, even if she needs a plumber, she's not gonna call you. Oh wait a second, the phone's ringing. It's Daisy. She needs a plumber. Fuck you! Don't give me that look.
She called you. So the skim ahead here. Just so we don't go to like scene 5, this happens. Scene 6, that happens. More or less, like Mario is in debt to Scapelli's. And I think that he's in debt to the Scapellis right here.
Mm-hmm.
And where the previous one was the mob, this one it's kind of like a businessman with mob ties. And they do something more or less where, hey, like Daisy is working at the restaurant, but she is also still working as a paleontology student. So she's not one student running this whole thing, calling the shots. She's one of a couple students who we don't see really. And then the other students, I mean, and then Scapelli comes in and says, "Hey, so here's the thing. You guys are behind on your debt. We're going to take everything from you, but there's a way to fix it. You can go and sabotage that fucking dig site where we want to build whatever." Which I like the idea of like Mario being like, "Yeah, let's fucking do it. Those dinosaurs are already dead. What the fuck are they gonna do?" You know. So like the idea of like Mario like going in and like being the person to go sabotage the dig site. I mean, in the game lore, yeah, that doesn't sound like a very Mario thing, but this version of Mario, I definitely see that. And I think it also makes it a little more interesting. In all honesty, that also sounds like, because we keep on doing like our angry, like, you know, like vengeful Mario character, but really this is meant to be more of like a Bill Muray type, but I can't just help imagine it just being a little bit more of just like, you know, he doesn't sleep. He just sits in a chair and just waits for the next day, you know?
Well, because like to me, like when I a lot of times when I read stuff as Mario, especially these older scripts, like I picture the Mario voice from the old Super Mario Super Show cartoon, where he's just got the more Brooklyn-y voice, but then you just crank that up to a more intense version, and that's sort of how I do it. Like I know that like this is supposed to be like if Bill Muray or somebody like that was playing him, but yeah. It's weird. I just have a hard time as I picture like what's it? I just picture Bill Muray. I feel like he wouldn't even have a mustache knowing Bill Muray. You know what I mean? It just that seems like no, that's not me. I'm not a mustache guy.
I'm not doing that. No. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, because I love Bill Muray, but Bill Muray always feels like the guy who shows up and he kind of has that thing of like, no, you're doing my movie. I'm not doing yours. You know?
I get that vibe too. Like he's just gonna roll on in like, want me to wear a red hat? Why am I wearing a red? No, fuck no. They're gonna see the bald spot. I want them to see the fucking bald spot, you know? So, also another thing about this, I get the vibe. I'm not sure if they say it in here. I get the vibe they're in the red and blue overalls the whole movie.
Yeah, I kind of picture that too. Like they're just already in the kind of outfits and so on, because there's never like a dress change like there is in the actual movie or anything like that at some point, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it is kind of that, but at the same time, Mario's just so desperate. He's like, I'm gonna go flood the dig site. But in the process of when that kind of goes on, like of course Daisy's there and she knows she needs help, and she's getting sabotaged and so on. And it's just in the part like where Daisy's almost getting drowned by like the flooding of everything, and like Luigi goes to like save her, and Mario's just like, let the dame go. We need the money. It's for the cause.
I think it's basically he's just like Luigi. She wanted to be with the bones. Let her be with the bones. She chose her choice. She chose her path in life.
You know, and in this process, like Scapelli, I think he also never see around it, but he also ends up raiding the Mario Brothers, like kind of like their warehouse or whatnot. Takes all their stuff and says like, you know, this is for late payments or whatever. They're like, how are we supposed to work without our tools? Papa Mario gave us those tools, damn it. That's all we have left of those tools.
And they also get across that his daughter, Daniela, is also missing. She's one of the missing Brooklyn girls, which they get across, which a lot more girls have been taken. Before, in the movie we got, it's like 10 or 11. It's maybe like 6 girls altogether or something like that. This one, it's like 26 girls have gone missing or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they say that number, but like you don't see them all in there, so it feels like you see like 6 of them standing in a row.
They all ride with Mario down a mattress.
Yeah,
exactly. 26 women all. Granted, it was a big fucking mattress, but still.
It's okay. Keep piling them on, Luigi. This is the most tail Mario's ever gotten his whole life. When you're blue collar, you only dream of these sort of things.
I'm one of those guys. Like, here's how it is. Like, I'm not young anymore. I'm not pretty anymore. Back in my day, though, I would be laying all the fucking pipe. There'd be none left. They'd be fucking wrecked after me. They couldn't even walk normal again after me. I can't do that anymore. I've come to realize that. But once every 4 years, I get lucky at a dive bar. Some fucking dumb bitch who doesn't know better thinks that like, oh, he seems like a nice old man. What can he really do? Well, how much damage can he really do? Like, oh, you have no fucking idea. You have no fucking idea, you stupid bitch. And then from there, yes, and she remembers. She fucking remembers. Like, says with Daisy in the car.
Because nobody lays pipe like a plumber does, and that is a motherfucking fact. Glug, 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 glug. Daisy in the back, just quiet, like hands in her lap, like,
I'm only like Luigi's like, I'm only like, we're brothers. I don't actually really want to do plumbing. Oh, you shut the fuck up. You want to drive? He starts fucking hitting his brother.
Luigi, you pull out your dick and show it to her. Show it to her. Like, you see what a plumber's dick looks like. It literally looks like a 5-inch fucking pipe, galvanized and everything. You show it to me every day. That's how you fucking wake me up. You slap me across the face with it. You say it's brotherly love. I think it's fucking weird, but whatever. You're my brother.
I know Papa didn't teach you that.
No. Well, maybe he did. I don't know anymore. I don't even recognize the man.
I just imagine like Luigi pulling that shit, and before he just slap me, just wakes up, just catches like. You ever try this again? I rip it off.
He catches it like in a monkey wrench. Starts tightening it down slowly. Papa Mario always slept with a wrench under his pillow.
For multiple reasons. Tools are your best friends. Never forget that.
They never let you down, unlike friends. And lovers. And parents, teachers, everybody's gonna let you down but these tools. Presidents in other countries, yeah, I know it's a weird stretch, but they let me down too.
And that was every Christmas morning when we got a new tool. He'd just be shaking it in front of our face. Now get on your fucking overalls. We gotta go unclog a toilet in the Olive Garden.
Luigi, take those stupid fucking googly eyes off your tools. They're your friends, but they don't have feelings. But in this process of flooding of the whole like dig site getting flooded, because this is right where it sort of opens up to the crevice, though. Yeah. They get to the Dino Hatton, because this part feels like it almost sort of, it definitely rushes in a lot more. There's not as much kind of buildup as I feel like there is like in the movie. It's sort of like after this kind of flooding part and so on like that there, even though it has different scenes, this is where they kind of go to. And I can't remember this, like, does Daisy just have the stone on her, or does she go back and does she get that from the head, like, priest lady or whatever, the nun lady that she's like
the egg? It was like a couple parts. There's the egg, and then there is also the crystal, I think. So there's like 3 pieces to the puzzle. I think there's the egg, there's the crystal, and there's Daisy, who could, because they add like another layer to it where you have to be a portal guardian or something like that. I don't remember. We'll know.
Maybe that's more of the ghost. I didn't think about that, but maybe that's more why it's called the Ghostbusters one. Is they have that more like I'm the key and I'm the, yeah. I didn't think anything of that at the time, but I'm like, that kind of actually makes more sense, because she does go back to like the old lady, and the old lady's like, "You were born of this egg here. I will now tell you about the story of your origin."
It's like, okay, yeah, happy birthday. Like, sure, I was born an egg. Okay. Fucking old bitch is
nuns.
losing
it. Yeah. Believe me, the other nuns wanted to make an omelet out of it. They're like, have you ever seen one this large before? And I was like, that is a child in there, and we do not eat the children, even if they are born of eggs.
Even if they are the spawn of Satan, he'll corrupt us.
So I raised you the same way that I raised Rosemary's Baby. Yes, I did raise that one because I thought as long as there's a good nun, any devil child can turn out right.
But no, you had to go to that free-thinking college.
Exactly. Put all those liberal thoughts into your mind. Take the fear of God out of you.
Go to this dreaded gender studies.
Believe in dinosaurs? That wasn't in the Bible.
That's Jesus.
Become a vegetarian? Okay, Nun Hilda, we're out of here. See you later. I'm gonna go work on my dig site. Happy birthday to me.
What if you go now? Perhaps if you dig fast enough, you'll find hell. Like, all right, great.
So as the portal kind of all comes together, they get whipped into Dinotopia, which in this version definitely has that like alternative reality. Like it literally is Manhattan, or it is like New York, but just different. Because there's even that part where like Louis like, "Hey, everybody's here's a bunch of assholes," and so on. Mars like, "We're in fucking Manhattan. I knew it. We're not in Brooklyn anymore."
Well, something else I noticed is like, because Iggy and Spike are also kind of bumping around, and they also they're a little bit more evil in this, and I actually like Iggy and Spike more in this version because you could tell as it went on they're just trying to condense shit, and I feel like Iggy and Spike in this version, like, is I think they make it across that Iggy is more the like sort of the brains. I mean, he's still an idiot, but he's kind of the brains, and he's a little bit more the bureaucrat. Spike is the killer. And I just think that's kind of a more interesting kind of like dynamic. And like, Iggy's almost kind of more there just as like, well, he has to be, you know what I mean? Someone's got to keep Spike in line kind of. And I just thought that was kind of just an interesting take on it. But at the exact same time, it's one of those things where as it goes on, I kind of appreciate that they don't turn good. I appreciate they stay like as it goes on, they kind of just become a little bit more like it's kind of hard to tell them apart personality wise from what I remember, but I appreciate they never turn good. They're there as just assholes the whole time, and they never have that, because even in the version we got, they're still kind of like, I think the guy that played Iggy was like, what the fuck, whenever he was like mid thought or trying to think of something, what the fuck is this? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, their retarded levels turned down a little bit in this one, and they're almost more kind of creepier and more like, I don't know, dangerous in a sense, I guess is the best way to sort of say it. Like even some of the words they kind of go through as they're talking to it, like you kind of go, oh, well, what the fuck's wrong with these guys? They're like very mentally unstable.
Yeah. Well, this version, I'm not sure if we said this yet. This version, our like fucked up version of Mario jokes aside, this version is definitely a PG-13. There's like no way around it. It's because the other one, when people talk about like the movie we got, people have never seen it. Like, this is a Mario movie, and kind of looking at it, like I didn't think of it as like a kid. A lot of it I wasn't able to put together.
No, I feel like if you were there in '93, it's a lot different.
Yeah, but like a lot of it I didn't really put together as a kid. I was just like, okay, it's just it's like more of just trying to do like an over the top thing, but I didn't put together, oh, those are junkies. Oh, those are hookers. Oh, I just like, oh, it's 90s. I just thought it was just this crazy over the top world with just like, because I've seen that in other movies, but I didn't really have context for it. So
yeah, it looks it's the same as Judge Dredd.
Yeah, so at a first glance, I'm kind of like, okay, it's not Mario as I know it, but it's not like that big of a deal. And then you hear someone say, dude, there's like crackheads running around, there's hookers and all this in a Mario thing. And that sounds intense. And then you watch it and like, oh, well, this isn't as much of what I thought this is the script that comes to mind when people say that kind of thing. I think this is the verb, because there's things that happen in this. I mean, there's an attempt rape scene in this fucking script. So like, if you thought the whole part with like with Koopa cornering Daisy and doing the like that tongue thing was off in the original one, in the one movie we got, they cut a few things out.
Yeah, no, this one definitely. This one definitely has a lot more, like, even if this movie too, it's like there would have been some of that stuff that even for a PG-13 movie, they'd be like, nah, trim a couple of these things down if they were gonna like straight shoot one, you know.
For being a Super Mario movie, they say like son of a bitch and shit a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot more swearing. Even like Luigi's got a lot of swearing in this one too, because like Luigi doesn't have that thing that he has in the '93 movie, where he's kind of just like the guy of the heart of, like, you know, kind of like the heart of gold type thing. And this one, he's just kind of like, no, fuck 'em, Mario. Like, these guys are seriously fucking assholes, you know? And Mario has that thing like, yeah, Luigi, I know they're fucking assholes, but sometimes you gotta work the man to get through life. You can't just be throwing punches all the time, you know, just thinking like, you know, thinking with your fucking dick the whole way through. Because that's the thing is, Luigi just has this thing where he's like, yeah, like, you know, if I, you know, fuck Scapelli, pretty much. He's like 2 steps away from that.
Yeah, pretty much. And this movie almost kind of, it's interesting because it kind of goes down like, compared to the movie we got, it kind of follows it. It seems like it's going down there just with a couple extra scenes and dialogue shifted around slightly. But then when we actually they actually at some point, like, Daisy is, I think, caught by Bowser, as well as Mario and Luigi. And I think they happen to be thrown in the car with Toad at the same time. And multiple times they make the cops are eating all meat donuts, like donuts made of all meat. And then they're like, hey,
the police stations.
Yeah, they go to the police station and they say like, hey, so do you think you could pick out the girl? Like, Mario's like, yeah, it's that one right there. Let's get the fuck out of here. I want to go home. Luigi's like, what the fuck, Mario? He's like, what? Fuck you. I want to go home.
I already threw her under the bus when we were flooding the dig site. Like, believe me, just pointing her out like a hooker lineup's not the worst thing anymore.
There's even a joke where like the cops are like, hey, what are you doing here? And like, oh, this streetway, this sidewalk is exclusively reserved for hookers this time of day. Are you a hooker? What? No? All right, we'll get in the car then.
There's also another kind of like hooker joke they have when they get to the police station. They're like, where it's just like, okay, and over here is where all like the hookers, degenerates, crackheads, and actors go. You know, but yeah, as they get thrown the cop. And the interesting thing is this one is Toad's like in the journey like the whole way through. So like once they meet Toad, script. Yeah, he's there the whole time and whatnot. And Toad's kind of, you know, just like how I guess even in the movie kind of introduces them to like how the world kind of works here and so on. And, you know, almost like the other interesting thing, it comes a little bit later, but they mentioned that like Toad and like all his like kind of people, like in a sense, all like even like describe it like, you know, Toad and his liberal type friends are all a bunch of herbivores that don't know how to like do anything for themselves and just kind of mill about wanting change but not knowing how to do it.
Hey man,
hey man, like, you know, it's like we want change, but like, you know, like, and Mario's like, come on, like you didn't. Like, who's run this? Like, well, you know, Koopa ran is good Koopa, bad Koopa, you know, perspiring Koopa, you know, all these other things. It's like, he's the only guy you got to fucking vote for? Like, well, yeah, it's a work in progress for the democracy. It ain't a fucking democracy. Like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, he's Koopa, he's got everything in there, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, somebody else has got to run. Like, have you guys ever thought about running? Well, I don't know, it sounds kind of scary to be running for something that big and puppy.
Just grabs one of them.
Fucking don't speak up when I talk to you. You just trail off every single time.
Make eye contact here. Listen here, you Jimmy Carter loving fuck. No, it's like one of those things where like, because yeah, well, first off, it kind of goes like, aside from Mario selling out Daisy for a second, and then they're like, all right, de-evolve them anyway, you know, like they're kind of going down the line, and Toad is there, and he says, "This is the first time I've been de-evolved." Like, what? And you find out that he's a chameleon, so he can change back to whatever they de-evolve him to. So, and they never really go into the Goombas that much. They just say they look kind of reptilian, somewhat kind of turtle-like. So, and you see them like there's a line of people, and there's like a few guys that turn in like turtle-like creatures, and they take them off. He's like, Koopa uses the more dangerous, violent ones for his army. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's kind of how you guys get him, probably more of like a variety, and getting the Koopa Troopas to some extent.
Yeah, no, it kind of explains a little bit more there in a sense, but also not giving tons of details in a sense. But yeah, you because even like when they get like the Mario Brothers about to get thrown to the de-evolved chair, Koopa comes out, or not Koopa, I mean Toad comes out. He's in the chameleon form, and that's where like Luigi points it out, and he grabs like a flamethrower gun from the wall. I like how they kind of explain it. They're like, oh yeah, you load tennis balls in this thing, and that's why it shoots flame balls out. Like really trying to explain the fireballs from Mario.
The bounciness of it.
Yeah. I'm like, that sounds kind of cool because as they're blasting around though, like bouncing off all the place and so on like that, and you got to reload it. It just sounded like I pictured a pretty cool looking gun with that.
Well, this is also where they start, because for a minute it seems like it's doing the same thing with a few slight changes. And then from like basically the prison break, I guess you could say the movie has the same beats, but from the prison break and on, there's a lot that's different about it. Like, because in the movie that we got, it's just kind of like, let's go on this little zip line thing and swing our legs, and then we'll get into a cop car and get the fuck out of here. And then in this one, it's like a full-on, like, we're running through this police station, we're getting chased down, we're using this flamethrower gun, and then they even get the jump boots early on, the thwomp shoes. And there's different cartridges for it. Some just jump, but some are meant to be, I'm pretty sure, because it's a blue casing, the POW block. Because when they put in the cartridges for POW block, it like makes the whole building unstable, and they just jump out of there.
Yeah, so they got different variations they can kind of plug into. So that's always kind of the cool part, is where they're trying to put like how do we do this in like almost like the real world and kind of implement these Mario kind of mythology type things. And as they sort of break out of here, and that's where like Toad takes them to like his underground like liberal bar where there's like some like up there doing some slam poetry or something. On like the outskirts of town. That's all I picture. Like all Toad's like hipster friends down there. Is this
a fucking bongo drum?
Luigi, why is there cats all on the tables?
Oh, is this fucking kale? Like flips it over.
Hey, I ordered a fucking burger. You know what I mean? Like, well, there's the part too where like Mario looks, he's like, you guys are fucking herbivores and you're eating meat. And he's like, well, here, it's just what this. He's like, get that fucking waitress bitch over here. Come on, my boys here want a fucking salad, and you brought him a goddamn fucking raw steak.
Leave the steak for me.
Yeah, leave the steak for you. You can cook it a little bit longer. Shit. I'm not a fucking full-on animal here, unlike these guys. But come on, bring out my little bitch friends out here. What do you guys want? You want like you look like a Caesar salad looking motherfucker. Like you can't even handle that good of a salad.
Can we get a side of tampons for Miss Caesar here?
And in this process, this is where the movie really starts to change, or the script starts to really change, because they're looking on TV, and Mario once again is like, what the fuck are you guys watching on this TV here? Come on, you got some real sports on here. Is there some hockey or something to play? And they see this like, oh, and in late news, Cooper has his annual tournament of the golf coming up, where like he will also have an execution.
Yeah, so here's where it's kind of like, there's a quick little like one of the more like PG type jokes, like, oh my God, they're gonna kill the girl after they make her watch a full golf tournament.
Yeah, well, it's almost that interesting thing too, where you think about it, you're like, shit, this is kind of like, it's kind of like one of those ones like, it's sort of before people really know about Mario Golf, because technically the first Mario Golf game comes out in the NES, but in America they changed it to NES Open Tournament instead, is what it's called. It's not called Mario Golf. So the fact that there's like a big fat golf scene in like the movies, almost kind of one of those ones like, wow, that's actually thinking way far ahead. Like that seems totally right nowadays. If you made a Mario movie and you had a big old golf scene in there, you'd be like, oh yeah, Mario Golf makes total sense. But in this one here, it almost feels like the only thing I can feel of is that like they're going for a Caddyshack vibe. You know what I mean? Like, well, shit, if we're gonna try to go for Bill Murray. Let's get a golf scene in there.
Let's make Bill feel at home. Yeah. Well, it's also one of those things where I'm thinking, because how do I put this? Wasn't I know it's already takes place in this crazy over top world, but didn't the NES one and the one for Game Boy, wasn't that just like basic golf, but it just happened to have Mario and Luigi in it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the NES Open Tournament's literally just it's just a golf game that you play as Mario and Luigi, and I can't remember if you even play as any of the other characters. I just remember you just playing as Mario and so on in that one. But it's literally like the core Mario golf game, though. Still like you see all this stuff in there. It's just that they just because it's called Mario Golf in Japan, but for some reason in America, I'm like, fuck, call it Mario Golf. Like make it feel more pristine because fucking dad needs to have something to play with. Yeah, NES Open Tournament, like. So it's like that where it's
no.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, but even still, when I saw that in here, it's like, oh shit, like they got kind of like that, a full on golf scene. Like it seems so right nowadays. Like and like if there was if the new Mario movie came out and you saw there was a golf scene in there, you'd be like, yeah, that seems right. Fucking Mario's always golfing. You know what I mean? He's always out there.
I guess when did Mario Kart come out? Was that 92 or 93?
That's 92 because there's literally almost like as like we go farther in, there's almost like a Mario Kart like scene too with golf carts and throwing fucking items and shit out. Like once again, I'm almost guessing like when they're writing this script, I don't know if they would have. God, Mario Kart would have been like, who knows? Unless they had that crash course, so like here's a Super Nintendo and here's a bunch of games, catch up real quick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's a possibility, yeah. I feel like the movie we got, there's some things that are just kind of coincidental, but there's some things that are like obviously them trying to like look at this over here, especially in the original script. And I think this one actually has more references in the movie that we got. It also has a lot more happening. I'll be honest. I think you could probably take some of this stuff out. Because I mean, the golf thing, what you just said, with that context, that makes a little bit more sense, but the golf thing just seems like a weird thing to focus on. But the golf thing is ultimately like, because they say they're going to do a public execution of Daisy. And for a minute, I had to go back and go a few pages back. Like, did I misread something? Because I was like, don't they need Daisy? Not just with my prior knowledge of the movie we got, but like, don't they need Daisy for the power of the Force or whatever? To withstand the Force or something like that. And I'm just kind of thinking like, is there something I missed? Like, oh no, this makes sense. So it was to pull them out so they can get the Rock and all that. Cause it ends up being just like, they have this kind of like Caddyshack slash like Wacky Racers version of golf kind of thing. Cause all these different people and they actually find a way to get in more Mario characters. Wendy and Morton, who are Koopalings in the games, are like newscasters for the propaganda channel.
Yeah, exactly. So they got them in there, and even in the golf tournament and so on, there's like piranha plants growing around and everything like that. Like
swamps.
I really pictured it looking kind of like almost like something out of like Mario 64 kind of era, like vision, like when I was like reading this kind of stuff. So there is some kind of neat stuff there, and it's not that like Mario, like you almost, I'm like, is this gonna lead up like Mario's like, I gotta join that tournament, and that's how we'll like, or like Luigi would probably say like, we gotta join the tournament, Mario, and we'll like we'll be able to bound there, and Mario's like, no, fuck that. No fucking Mario's ever gonna be playing golf. We're gonna go up there and crash that party. Get me a beer.
He just goes in. He says, "Don't
do this IPA fucking bullshit." Like, come on, like you gotta have something else in here.
Here,
damn it,
Miller,
you're such a fucking beer. Letdown. Yeah, because there's even a sign in there like Luigi goes, "It's Miller time."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Which, granted, I guess that's when those commercials started coming out. Was like around that era.
Just imagining Mario getting so belligerent, like if he had it his way. If the movie, like if they won right here, it ends. If they won right here, it ends with Mario taking out like Koopa's 9-iron and like fucking beating him to death right there on the mound, and then just going up and like dropping his draws and just taking a shit right in his mouth and saying a hole in one. Credits.
Like fucking Duke Nukem. Well, it's one of those ones too, like going back to the Miller time. Okay, imagine it's 1993 and there's a fucking Miller tie-in Mario Brothers beer.
God.
Just as a kid, you would peer pressure your parents into buying that one.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, we so need the Miller time right now because that's like literally there's a commercial where Luigi comes out and says it's Miller time and he's drinking a Miller beer. Like, if you're not drinking that beer, I don't even know if I can call you a man anymore.
You disappoint me, Dad. You're going this Coors Light bullshit. You could be a man like Mario drinking Miller. The thing, what if it's not even Bob Hoskins? It's just like cartoon Mario with like holding a beer, like, hey, you know.
I just love the idea of this like a tie-in, you know. It's like this is the area where, you know, like anything's kind of possible. It's not like the Mario we know and love where he's solidified nowadays. This is Mario where, like, you know, just a moment ago Mario's penis was fucking hanging out in the Super Mario Land comic as he's slamming down a robot going, shit, fuck, god damn it.
I just like the idea of like Mario, like tie-in with Mario Kart from Miller Lite, like Mario on a cart, like in a cart, just like with a beer, giving thumbs up, like, you know, brave the night, kids. Designated drivers are for pussies.
If you get a DUI, it's only because you're a bitch.
Exactly.
Oh, Toad, you just got a DUI. I guess he can't hold his liquor. The crowd laughs.
Just imagine Mario getting pulled over by a cop and just like done this before. Does the walk, does all that stuff. He's just like pull that one off, you know? That's why it's always important to practice your ABCs backwards, even when you're sober.
Exactly. That's what Mario fucking God. What the heck is Mario teaches typing? It's all about.
Type in like, what is your badge number? All right, cool, yeah.
But yeah, as this kind of carries on, there's that whole cool golf scene that goes into a Mario Kart scene, and all this kind of this is where it starts feeling more and more Mario as it kind of like happens, and this kind of like into Act 2, going into Act 3 and beyond, and so on. There. Go ahead.
And then I was going to say, basically, all the people in the golf tournament are Koopa's political rivals, and they're all ultimately people that work for him. And it's staged in such a way to where they every hole's a death trap. There's one with like quicksand, and like if it goes into into the rough, or not the rough, into the sand pits, or there's one where there's like goes into the water and there's like razor fish in there or something to that effect. There's like a bunch of different like traps like that. And there's of course a giant like Indiana Jones style golf ball rolling down.
Oh yeah, there's literally that where like they got to run away from it and so on. And doesn't Koopa even throw his own caddy into like that razor fish, and that's where we first see it?
I think so, yeah. And then like something like that. And then like there's also just a T-Rex walking around on the mountain somewhere, and at some point Mario is like Indiana Jones fighting a T-Rex with like a sewer snake.
Oh yeah, because that's like one of his main things. He's got like his drain snake or whatever, and he kind of uses that as sort of one of his weapons.
He has a drain snake, and they're going to save Daisy, but they find out that it's not Daisy because she's wearing like a mask over her, like a bag over her head. They find out it's Iggy or Spike. It's one of them. And he says it was just like it was a trip. But he's just like, you think you're embarrassed? I had to shave my legs for this.
Oh yeah, he does say that. It's like one of those ones. He's like, and the weird thing is, I liked it.
Hard eye contact, not blinking.
Yeah, fucking, I knew it, Luigi. Mario, how'd you know it? I just know these things, you just know that, like, you see a woman, you think she's gonna be hot, turns out it's a fucking man. Happens a lot. You'll get used to it as you grow up, Luigi. Let's go fucking home. But Mario, we're not done yet. Okay, I guess we're fucking still going. I thought this would put an end to it, but I guess it won't.
Man can dream, but what good does dreaming get you? But no,
Yeah, exactly.
but there's also I'm not sure if this was before or after this scene, but it's probably close to this somewhere. There's the whole scene where Bowser gives Princess Peach or Princess Daisy the exposition dump, and says to her like, "Yeah, your father, your mother was like a portal keeper or portal something to that effect." And I think there may have been a line. It was like one line that implied that like I kind of derailing myself here, where maybe Koopa and Daisy's father were into the same lady, but her father got to made the first move, and he's like, "Nah, is what it is," you know.
Maybe that is. That does sound kind of familiar because there was a weird like family tie. Because there's even the part where
he
Daisy
says like,
looks and
"I
she's like,
talked to that girl. I only talked to the girl once or twice, and it made me feel good, but I don't think he was talking about Daisy though, you know."
Yeah, well, because there's also that same line too that it's somewhere in that conversation where like once he's going through all this like storytelling stuff, and Daisy looks and she goes, "Wait a second, you're not my father, right?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't think I'm that old, do you? Koopa, 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 Koopa." Like one of those things like that. Like he's like, "Oh, the fucking bitch thinks I'm old. Well, whatever." One of those things. And he goes, no. And then he goes to explain sort of like a weird kind of like connection between all of them there and so on like that. I don't know. There's something I will say. This is definitely one of those scripts where I did have to I would read a couple of pages sometimes and then go, wait a second. I have to go back. And I did that multiple times in there, which I don't always do that. But it definitely, there was some shit and be like, wait a second, what? It was like the same thing when when I first saw Danielle, I'm like, wait a second, Danielle, is that Scapelli's kid? Like, you know what I mean? Like go back. Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, so I may have misread that or misconstrued that, but at some point he was talking to the fungus, and he was saying like, which they introduced the fungus way sooner. But some point he's talking to the fungus, and he says something along the lines of like you made the first move, or you got nothing as blatant as you got the girl before I did, but it was something along the lines of like, I should thank you really if you didn't talk to, like, if you didn't talk to her or make your move when I did, then I wouldn't have gone after power and greed like I did. We wouldn't be here now, would we? So it was something kind of like that. And I'll say this version of I think this version of Koopa is way more fucked up and way more sinister than the Dennis Hopper version we have, or even the first version. Because the first version, he is very much like Bowser. He's kind of a goof, in the first version. This version, way more fucked up and way more sinister and evil. Second one, or the movie, we got this, but more toned back. Because, he does go to the Devolve chamber, and he does this thing, which I assume they were planning to do in other versions of the movie. But there's because if you look at like a bunch of like promotional material for the Mario Brothers movie, there was, whenever they show Koopa,
yeah,
they show him like he's in that mid phase where he has the jagged teeth, he looks more reptilian, his eyes are more monstrous looking. And that was like on a bunch of posters, a bunch of promotional art. It's on a t-shirt. And in this version, they have this thing where he'll have these moments where he reverts back to a beastly monster version. So I'm wondering how far along before they decided to cut that back. Because you do see, because it's only in one shot of the movie when they're hitting with the Devo gun and he looks all creepy and scary. It's only one shot of the whole movie. So I'm wondering how much that was used in the previous version, or how much they plan to use it,
Yeah, well, because it's like even in this one too, this script. I mean, script-wise, it's so easy to write like, oh, he's in a monster form for a much longer. To actually shoot that in real life, it's like, that's a lot of money right there, Like, so I get where that sort of comes from. Costs nothing to write it, costs a lot of money to fucking show it. But
I feel like that's a lot of the script.
Yeah, the script has a lot of this stuff where he's in like once he transforms kind of in this one, he's transformed for like a while. You know what I mean? Like that whole like ending battle, it's like they're almost running away from Koopa in different places and so on like that. And he's transformed and Mario's battling him and what have you, you know. So I think they're definitely keeping that going there much more in this script.
Well, there's also so I kind of derailed myself there, but there's the scene. There's a scene in the movie the movie we got where he's approaching her and gives her the exposition dump. In this script, they have that, but things go. They imply that when his eyes can kind of hypnotize her because they go like more reptilian slit, and then she almost looks dazed, and then he's coming up to her, and it is a very like I think I'm on it right here. I want to see if I can. I'd like to read it if I can, because it just looks, it's so like, it's so on the nose. Portal Keepers, that's what they're called. Portal Keepers. And
what page are you on out of curiosity? Just for
I trying to find it. Here we go. I think this is it. Sorry, I'm gonna have to maybe just cut part of this off. Anyway,
I just now realize this. I could be as lazy as I want to and just have Bing read me this whole script to me.
Yeah. Well, I can't find the exact line here. I was looking for this exact. Oh no, here we go. Found it.
You found it?
So we kind of cut back to this scene a couple of times. You know, them having dinner, him telling her about her father, her mother, all that kind of stuff. Here's a line. This is when I think he's using his hypno eyes, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Something has been missing from your life, hasn't it? A hole needing to be filled. That's because you belong here with us, with me. Then stage direction. Daisy leans in towards Koopa. Koopa responds, aroused, hungry, and suddenly convulsing with a growl. Koopa's face turns reptilian, regressing. His pupils narrow to slits. He shakes his head, pulls himself back together. Daisy's dazed expression vanishes and she screams. He pins her down, but this arouses him even more. Outside Koopa's door, Iggy and Spike. This where you have the like stupid fucking like goofy ass.
It's just
like,
one of them fucking looking through like the eye hole beating off.
Just like the most like intense thing, and like you have like these two like just thumping in,
cutting away,
dum, you know, from like, you know, and then like, are you sure we should disturb him? Like he sent for us, didn't he? A roar emulates with from within. Let's go back another time, you know. And it's like not for us. No, we're good with this shit. You do what you got to do, boss. Just, you know. And then Koopa roars out loudly, changing. He turns and hides his face, but hides his face. Daisy struggles free and runs to the door, locked. Koopa staggers back, like, God damn it, guards, take her away, you know. So it's like. That was in a Mario. I was in a movie called Super Mario Brothers. So it's
well, then I'll see. It's like if I picture that scene, I picture of like Dennis Hopper, which you know it's Dennis Hopper, so then it makes it feel even more frightening.
Samantha Manthis too.
Yeah, exactly. Just like you know, you'd be like old school Dennis Hopper, where like. I remember when like he was having an argument with Peter Fonda, and Peter Fonda just goes, "Yeah, well, at least I don't beat my wife." Ended that argument real fast. 60s.
Wait, Peter Fonda, so that's Dennis Hopper?
Yeah, exactly. Because you know, Dennis Hopper was just a maniac in like the 60s, and so that's why like he wasn't in movies for like 20 years almost.
He's like, I'm back.
Yeah,
don't you
I'm
just
back.
wait and see.
I just did Blue Velvet, and now I'm doing Super Mario Brothers.
I'm on a roll. Let's keep this going.
Waterworld's next.
Captain America's back. Didn't you hear?
I'm Billy the Kid. I know I'm not Captain America, but still, whatever. You guys all remember the movie, right?
So,
so yeah, wherever the heck Lee is after, King Koopa gets kind of rapey and so on, and then breaks out. Well, because literally he's also got the, Lena or whatever, the almost like, and they make her, because like in the movie, like, let's be honest, like that lady just always feels like there's like that older lady who thinks she's still kind of sexy, but let's be honest, no kid thinks she's hot at all. Like one of those ones,
Harry Potter's aunt, yeah.
Yeah, where in this one here, like script wise, they really make it out like every single time that like she shows up on the screen, it's like, and the cameraman looks down to notice her ass, or Iggy notices down there she she walks away with her ass shaking and so on like that. They always have like those kind of cut scenes, like almost like a wolf in like a fucking like Tex Avery cartoon.
Well, they also do this thing. So I guess getting back on the main part, because like she always pops up, and she doesn't really do a whole lot in this version, in all honesty. She's just kind of there, where she is more or less eye candy, where in the other version she has her own goal and her own plan, and she herself is trying to form a coup to an extent. But here Mario and Luigi are both going to be sentenced to death. Different means. Mario is left at like a sand pit where there's like sand eels. They're gonna kill him. They go up your ass and just lay eggs, and it takes a long time to die. And then like Luigi's gonna be gutted alive, like in basically a fish. I don't know, not butcher shop, but I guess the equivalent, like a freezer room, more or less. But then Toad is able to help save Mario, and from there they go and save Luigi, and that's where the movie really says, like, we're kicking this shit into fifth gear, man.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, okay, we're going through. We're gonna go save the women now. We're gonna kick King Koopa's ass, and we're gonna break out of this dimension. And it even has like that same kind of like I guess you'd say like the bobsled like scene. In this one too, where like Mario he's like, load up all 26 women on this like mattress. Yeah, they can fucking fit.
Well, they also get it across that like something else that like the one little detail I thought was interesting is all the guys in SWAT gear, they have their riot shields apparently look like turtle shells, which was an interesting.
Yeah.
And
I think that was a cool look.
And then what's up happening is they end up getting all the Brooklyn girls out of there, but Toad escorts them back. Toad and his buddies help get them out of there, and then Mario and Luigi go to save Daisy, and from there, like, they're like, okay, cool, we got Daisy, let's go. It doesn't matter because Koopa already has the crystal, and he could already do so much damage with what he has. We have to stop him. Mario is like, fuck. Okay, Jesus fucking Christ. Keep on thinking we're done, and really, it's always next time on Dragon Ball Z. This shit's still happening. Fuck.
That's literally Mario's attitude the whole way through. It's just like, one more fucking, it's like Dante's fucking Inferno in here.
Like, really, it could have just been this whole movie. Really, this is the movie that came out. It could have just been like, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Bob Hoskins, like, looking exasperated with his eyes rolling. It just says, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, we got what are we gonna fucking do next? Jesus fucking Christ, let's get the hell out of here. So as they go on to save it, I think this is like when like they all come together, and there's a scene where Luigi's like calling out the Koopa and whatnot. He's like, you know what? We got an asshole on our planet too, by the name of Hitler. And I thought it was funny. He's like, yeah, he was a real jerk. You know who else is a short little maniac? Frank Sinatra. Yeah, him and Hitler, kind of like the same guy. It's just like, what the fuck? Somebody really had something against it. I mean, we all know Frank wasn't the nicest fella out there, but compared to Hitler's a big one. You fuck that guy. He's like this, the worst Italian next to Mussolini.
I liked Elvis more than Sinatra. There, I said it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck Sinatra. Don't cut any of this from the script. This is the most important scene we have to have in there. Kids got to know.
Well, that part, that happens like from there. That's like they go into a lot of detail into the action scenes with the script. There's like a lot of like almost to kind of like a Die Hard level, because they save Daisy, and before they get to the scene you're just talking about, they save Daisy and they bust in like, okay, we think this is where it's at. They see someone with like a stick or something, like a silhouette. They bust in, like, oh, like who is it? Like, I'm not sure if they misspelled it because they said, I think his name is I think it's supposed to be Lemmy, but they made it Lenny. Unless I'm misremembering. So I'm like, oh, is that another Koopaling reference? They just got the name a little wrong, which wouldn't surprise me at this day and age if they did. No one's like, I don't fucking bother correcting it. He's, I'm Koopa's accountant. Oh, well, where's Koopa? Oh, he's over there. He points to the other building directly across from them. Like, oh, fuck, okay, So, and then they end up going to the top of the building. They knock over the radio tower, and they have to walk across it. It's like, this shit is getting really extravagant, and and then like they're attacked, and then they get separated. Like Daisy and Luigi get on a wire and swing through like John McClane and Die Hard into Yakatomi Plaza through, and then Mario is fighting someone else up there, gets separated. They bump into the Hammer Brothers at some point. There's one moment where they're cutting through and they come across the Hammer Brothers. So there's a bunch of greased up guys with all kinds of different hammers. They're just chucking at them.
Well, it's kind of interesting because the way it's almost like it felt like they were described too is that they made the Hammer Brothers out like, oh, here's your fucking rival, like, blue collar worker guys, like almost like they're like the contractor brothers compared to like the plumber Mario brothers, like that was like how I kind of pictured it like there.
Well, I liked in the original version, the Hammer Brothers are basically the Boba Fett's of the movie. Like they were the guys, they were like the Black Ops, more or less, in that one. This one, they're just like a couple of dopes. They just bump into like it's a reference to the game. Just be happy it's in there, But like, but then that's where shit goes crazy, because then by the time Mario, because going off that thing you're talking about, Mario's trying to sneak up on Koopa, but then like he sees Mario, and Mario's like, just keep it rolling, keep this going. And he's like, oh, Sinatra. I'm like, well, where the fuck's that coming from? But and then from there though, that's where I want to say Mario and Koopa start fighting, and that's where some pre-Doctor Strange shit starts to happen, where I had to kind of go back and make sure I read that right.
Where they start battling and they start like flowing through dimensions. Yeah.
Some Paper Mario shit for a minute happens, pre-Paper Mario.
Yeah, exactly. This is the one too. It's like it's 1993, so we definitely don't have this kind of budget for any kind of cool effects like this for them to be like throwing each other through different dimensions and so on. But it's kind of interesting because it does give like sort of like context to like, well, here's some other Mario worlds, like in a sense. Like I felt like that was sort of what it was all about.
Well, I was confused. I thought it was just more abstract, crazy shit. Like maybe the world where they're on a stage fighting, maybe that was Mario 3, but the audience is full of eels in suits for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Like the opera one, you mean?
Yeah, where they're on a stage fighting, because they say because Mario 3 is kind of meant to be a play to a certain extent. So I wasn't sure if like how that all worked exactly, but at the exact same time, then they get to the one where Mario and Bowser are both turning into like liquid every time they punch each other. I'm like, well, how are you gonna do that? And like, did someone just see like Terminator 2? Like, all right, that, but then like there's also like the one where Mario's small, Koopa's giant, and they're running through the jungle. Then all of a sudden Mario's hammer turns into a snake and attacks him, but then they end up fall into a different one. I think that's when maybe by that one they land to New York or something.
I think so, because I want to say there was only 3 worlds before they got to New York or something. But yeah, it's like it had like the small world or whatever, or the big world, I guess you would call it. And yeah, all these other ones like that too. And they were real bizarre. They were definitely like very like this. I pictured like you're gonna have this like, okay, bring Oliver Stone in just to do a psychedelic scene really quickly. You know, like what's gonna happen here?
I know this is kind of my go-to, but whenever this kind of thing happens, I know that he's probably more known for like whatchamacallit, Monty Python, but all this stuff kind of that whole like universe hopping thing and the way the worlds looked and how crazy and over top it was. I imagine because at some point Mario screams and then like Koopa's face appears in his mouth, and then he screams, and Mario's face appears in his mouth. So does that
Yeah.
When they go that weird psychedelic shit, and it's meant to be kind of funny and kind of so obscure, but at the same time, kind of like borders on existential dread or kind of like cosmic horror kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It always kind of gives me Terry Gilliam vibes. You know what I mean? I haven't seen all of his movies, but like, I'm thinking it kind of gives me, even though it's not as crazy as that, but something kind of like Time Bandits or even like the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus or whatever it was. You that kind of like at a first glance, it seems like a lighthearted kid's story, but when you look more into it, it's more darker and more fucked up than you initially think.
Well, it's like Brazil literally even has Bob Hoskins in it, so you got Super Mario in that movie.
Yeah, I actually never seen Brazil. I need to see that one though.
It's worth watching. It's an interesting one. I have like the 3-disc version. I've only watched it kind of like once or twice, but it's a very cool. Anything Terry Gilliam's one of those ones like you're always in for something good. Like 12 Monkeys or something like that.
Oh, he did 12 Monkeys, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that one. Yeah, he always does
more of his fantasy stuff.
There's a lot of movies that he does, and you kind of go, "Oh, I forgot." He also did what's the one where fucking Robin Williams is the hobo? Fucking the Fisher King. He did that one too.
Oh. Okay, I guess I'm thinking more his fantasy oriented stuff, Yeah. I need or I guess another example would be something kind of like a Neil Gaiman, you know what I mean? That kind of like, but I feel like Terry Gilliam's always a little bit more weirder with his stuff, Yeah. So, going off that, they end up on the Brooklyn Bridge, and that's where by this point Bowser is going more like deformed, and they said he's like coughing up acid and all that, and acting more reptilian-like.
Well, this is the part because once they kind of go through these merge worlds, I almost want to say this maybe this happens after the Bowser part, but I thought it happened before, but I could be kind of wrong. And they're pulling people through, and then there's a part where like the Lena girl's like, "Hey, like pull me through too," and Mario's like, "Well, why the fuck should we do that? You know what I mean? You've just been a hassle." She's like, "I'm hot." Yeah, okay, sure, why not?
I laughed out loud on that part.
I did too. I was just like, it was one of those ones like, yeah, sure. I mean, that sounds like, I will say, if there's a part for Bill Murray, I can picture Bill Murray like delivering that line, but all I picture is Mario be like, fuck it, whatever.
This whole time reading the script, I imagined it like being like Bob Hoskins, and just for that one shot, and she says, "I'm hot." Cut back, it's Bill Murray. Like, you are. Then back to Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, I just thought it's like, okay, that's reason enough. It's like talk about like it's like I feel it's almost like joking itself. You got the one-dimensional character. You like no, yeah, that's what she literally lives off of. That's all she is. Yeah. She just strings herself out like because there's that scene that they have. It's way earlier in the script where like they first show her, and it's like it goes across. It's supposed to be like one of those ones where like you almost felt like you're following like a sex scene, and it's like there's like the clothes strung about, and there's like the room's all torn up and everything like that. But as you go farther on, it's just a bunch of fucking like meat and food and everything like that, and they've just been sitting there like gorging themselves on all this stuff like that. And then she's like, "You want to have sex now?" Koopa's like,
I forgot about that part. Forgot about that.
Be like, "I'm already fucking this ham hock right now."
What we could have had.
Just some literal food porn.
Yeah. But just like doing that. There's an episode of It's Always Sunny where like Danny DeVito and that one like bigger lady start like hooking up, and they start doing like food sex. They're just feeding each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what this scene is. But yeah, back to Mario on the Brooklyn Bridge and everything like that. And then it almost kind of has, I guess you'd sort of say, similar feeling to like the movie one. Definitely it's written out more extravagant, of course, but Mario like fucking super jump over him with like the boots on and everything like that, and then like he like rockets Bowser into like he literally like team rockets him out of there.
Yeah, no, he uses the boots a few times, and Bowser has one of those moments. Like this is one of those moments where you reading it, you're just like, oh wow, that's in a Mario movie. Like they're basically having this big tumble, and I'll just read this part. And Koopa more or less just gets on top of Mario, and he's trying to like kill him. And then like Koopa yells, "I am the Lizard King. I don't need anything from you. You're nothing but a plumber. You're a plumber." And then Mario clicks his heels together, the stompers beep. "You goddamn right. You piece of shit," you know, just like I could totally see, like that sounds like a joke we'd make up for this, but no, that almost made it to the movie.
That's totally the same. Then like he launches them off fucking Team Rocket style out of there into like oblivion, and it's almost like I want to say that's kind of like generally it, and then all of a sudden like for some reason Scapelio comes, he's like, "Oh, you saved my dollar! This is the greatest fucking plumber in the entire world." It's like, yeah, fucking right. Like literally the beginning of the script, you were literally like selling Mario out and stealing shit from him and taking all his jobs away and something like that. I can't believe that even like with a saving the daughter, you're gonna change that hard.
Yeah, but at the same time, I guess they just needed a way to wrap it all up. Like, well, they still got problems in Brooklyn. Like, well, I guess we ain't going back. We're just gonna take over this world. We killed this dictator. There's a job opening, Luigi.
Yeah, exactly. They kind of just do that, and then it pretty much almost kind of goes to like credits. It's like fucking Bowser's there. Scapelli gives a fucking big fat hug, and something like that. And then we start getting to what are you gonna say?
Then Koopa comes back on us for a second. He comes riding in on the meteorite or something for a second. Just like does that one more thing, like you thought we were done, and then I think Mario pulls out the crystal or something and like shoots him with it or something to that effect.
Maybe that's what. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's because there's like that scene where like maybe I was just combining those scenes together where like Mario, like Super Mario's up onto like the top of the bridge, and it even literally has like in a sense like I like the reference, but it's like the oldest person ever. He jumps up there like Errol Flynn. It's like I like that reference, but I know like everybody else is like, especially nowadays, it's like 100-year-old reference almost, but like it's one of those ones. And I mean, it also has like there's other things in there too, but I almost want to say I was combining those together, but maybe that is right where he kind of finishes them off.
It was something to that effect.
But yeah, but like it literally kind of goes there and then just cuts to like literally a reporter kind of like finishing things up. And then I almost want to say it goes to like credits, and then it kind of has like a post credits or like a mid credits type scene, or even over the credits type scene.
Yeah, there's a scene where the credits are rolling as Mario and Luigi are in the car. It's all rolling away, and I'm wondering if we'll still have that. Yeah, the Alan Silvestri score. As we watch the thing, and like like Luigi's like, "Hey Mario, you think Pop ever thought this is what he was talking about when he says we need our plumbing skills someday?" He's like, "No, Luigi, I don't." Like,
I just picture like you ever think we do this? He's like, "No." He just goes to silence, like doesn't say anything. But instead, it keeps going on, and it's like he's like, it goes to this thing like. Yours was like, yeah, well, maybe, no, but he did prepare us for like that, there's going to be problems in the world and we'd have to take care of them as plumbers.
And then at some point she's like, just say thanks, Pop. Like, I don't want. And the paramedic says, go on, you can say, it won't kill you. He's like, thanks, Pop. Like one word, and then it ends. So,
That's I like this. The guys putting together the script definitely had this thing like there was definitely like some weird father bond thing that was just not connected in someone's life. I felt like they had to get across in here.
Like, you know what? I want to make a movie that make my dad proud. Dad sees it like this fucking sucked.
Thought you said you were making the Ghostbusters script. Well, no, Dad. We were just kind of calling that ain't fucking good as Ghostbusters. Why don't you go back to the drawing board or write, but whatever the fuck you do, boy, and you make a new script. And you get Bill Muray to be in it. I thought Bill Murray was supposed to be in this fucking shit.
Why don't you move me out of this goddamn motorhome yet either? You're a big fucking Hollywood big shot now, right? Make it not Ghostbusters.
Make it not Ghostbusters because you're a little bitch. Yeah, I was trying. Yeah, trying's all you ever did, right? Didn't Yoda have a saying about trying? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Yeah, I watched movies once in a blue moon.
Once.
Yeah, I watched a movie once.
It's fucking stupid. There's puppets and shit.
I don't know why that might be like. Remember my grandpa a long time ago said something once. He's like, yeah, I remember the last time I went to the movie. To the movie theaters. It was Son of Kong. Had no idea what was going on. They told me I was supposed to see the first one. Never went to the theater again.
Yeah. I guess now it's way easier. Now you can just watch a quick little. I haven't seen this, but I didn't see the last one. Let me just look up a quick little synopsis on YouTube. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just sitting there the whole time, like, what the hell is going on in this movie? But
so I just thought it was a father and son movie, so I didn't know that I didn't even bother to look at the poster. Like, less I know, the better. And then like, there's a fucking monkey. What the shit is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
You mean to tell me there's two monkeys that fucking big that had to fuck and make this thing? First off, if you want the first one, what happened to the other one?
Yeah. Where is this fucking Skull Island that they keep mentioning? I never saw that in the Pacific.
The fucking T-Rex, this is some horse shit. This is straight fucking bullshit. Who pays for this? I guess me. Well, never again. I won't contribute to the system.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Done. But yeah. Mario Brothers, this script it's an interesting one. Like, I definitely enjoyed it. I think that the other one that we read was definitely the really cool one. This one's still pretty neat, and it does kind of like in between kind of working its way towards the movie that we got. But like anything, it's just so cool to see these and see like kind of the many roads that you can take in life to like where your story can go.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed this one, and I knew that if we didn't do something Mario movie related for Mario March, we would be like kicking ourselves for it. So glad we covered this one. It was a fun time. It is also interesting just to see like some of the other things that didn't make it into the movie that like there's some things in this I wish made it to the original. Like I wish Iggy and Spike stayed bad guys and didn't get evolved into being smarter, which there's hardly a fucking difference. They just become good. That's the only thing. I wish I kind of like the final battle with like I like the whole thing with Koopa. I'm glad they took the attempt rape scene out. I'm glad they took that out. But at the exact same time, I did like how he kind of reverts back and forth. I thought that was interesting. But at the same time, I could see them like, because I was in kindergarten when the first movie came out. So that was probably a lot of their demographic, in all honesty. So we don't want to scare kids too much. So that's probably why they took that out. But there's a lot of things in this that I think are interesting ideas.
Yeah, no. I think overall there's some cool stuff happening in here. It's a fun script to read. It just kind of adds to it. I know that there's, even some other scripts out there, and, as the time goes on, they'll probably start fading together sort of, the more and more you read them. But it's interesting to see each person's sort of take on like what they decide goes into a Mario Brothers movie at this time period when it's not like the guys writing it did not grow up playing Mario Brothers. At the very maximum, they've played Mario for maybe 6 years if they just happen to be like into like technology, but that's the weird thing about this when you really think about it.
Oh, there's also one thing we forgot. Somewhere in there, I think there is like a coin box where you jump up and you have to like punch the box to make coins come out or something kind of like that.
Oh, I do kind of remember that. Yeah.
There is actually, I was looking at some of the notes for this, and there's just like doodles that one of the writers or someone did. I'm not sure if this is the guy just joking around because he was like just playing around, just little doodles for the logo or whatever, as well as just little scenes to kind of help explain certain concepts. And for some reason, I don't imagine, because it didn't say in the script, maybe this was just fun for him, but like he had like a bunch of the Brooklyn girls walking like waist deep high water, and you could see kind of like their nipples through their shirts, just like, because you just got done swimming through the water tunnel, so you can still see their nipples through their shirts or something like that. I'm like, ooh, I don't think that would have made it to the original, to the final version.
That's kind of a bizarre scene for like a Mario Brothers one there, you know.
Especially like, what was the last one that came out? What, like Mario World, or we're going to the dinosaur land?
Yeah, it's like someone's like, oh, we're not making a Heavy Metal 2.
I feel like somebody said like, hey man, we want to darken this thing up a little bit. Can you do that? Like, oh, we got some fucking ideas, bro. Like, it's 90s, we're gonna be edgy as fuck. All right, keep in mind it's Mario, so it doesn't have to be too edgy. Oh, don't worry, it's gonna be fucking edgy. Just you a fucking wait, man. You don't have to know. It's already happening. It's already happening. It's already rolling right here. You can't stop the momentum. It's gonna fucking happen. Just wait. He just runs out the door. Like, okay, well, shit. He's already contracted. So let's just see what the fuck he does.
It's always those ones when I think about these kind of scripts too. It's like, somebody gets paid a good sum of money just to like put together whatever, in a sense. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that like people don't work hard on it, but like these specs type scripts right here, like you do get a good chunk of change for just throwing this all together.
Yeah. Well, I'm also wondering, like, Parker Bennett, and I want to look these guys up on IMDb and see if there's anything that we know of what they did. We don't have to keep this in. I know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm late over here. I'm at that point.
I was gonna say, it's getting super late over there, for you. So
already here. I don't gotta work tomorrow.
Fuck it. Let's see what Parker Bennett and Terry Runte are up to nowadays. What would they fucking make?
Give me 1 minute here. One of them. Let's just put on one of them because I can't put both of them in the same time at IMDb. Let's see, Parker Bennett titles. Jesus Christ. Oh, here we go. Writer, Super Mario Bros. Known for Super Mario Bros. Mystery Date, The Thief and the Cobbler. Goddamn, really? The Thief and the Cobbler. It's an animation cult classic. And Sweet Valley High. Though, you know what? Here's what I bet. Thief and the Cobbler, that was originally a movie that I think had zero to no, not zero dialogue, but there's characters that did not talk, that when they brought it over, they made them talk. Their mouths were covered. Like, we got to get the kids' attention. So even though his mouth was covered, make him talk. So I could see him being one of those guys who wrote it for, I bet it's that. I'm not trying to discredit him, but I'm betting that's what it was. Yeah, then the other one, let's see here.
Old Terry Runte.
This isn't me trying to talk shit or nothing. I enjoyed the script. I'm just, every so often it's kind of interesting just to see what else.
We're just curious.
Yeah. All right. Known for they're writing partners. They worked on the same stuff. Okay. Yeah, same stuff as far as I can tell.
Okay, so they don't like to. They gotta do the fusion dance to get something done.
They're only yeah. So, or unless they. Oh, I feel bad. Oh shit, he died young. He died in 1994. He was only 34.
Jesus.
Yeah,
like 2 years after. That's only 2 years after he wrote. Yeah.
The movie. There's Let me go back and check what Parker Bennett did. I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring it down. Shit.
Hey, all those things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they just it was just Terry. Just Terry, unfortunately. But yeah,
well, it's
not that I want Parker to go too or anything. I'm just saying it was. But yeah, that's all I'm seeing here. But yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny because these guys are actually brought back like during the rewrite section. If you scroll farther down on the script section, like So it's almost like they had a handful of other people come in between the script and so on and throw some more ideas out. But then at the end of the day, they came back to these guys for some more stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So these guys do add into many of the things going towards the actual Super Mario Brothers 1993 movie. But yeah, fun stuff to be had. Enjoyed reading the script. I love seeing just the different variations of Mario movie madness that we can have for the 93 era. And bringing us all towards the new Mario movie coming out. We're just on a Mario Fest here with Mario March. Nothing but good times ahead. But beyond all that fun stuff, you can always go to oldmanorange.com where we got Pizza Boys comics up on there, old animations, videos, all that fun stuff, extra podcasts and all that good stuff up there. But till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Tunnigan.
And we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.